That's the whole intro is just Katie going,
Yeah.
All right, fucking
7 days.
evil clowns never die. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
That's true. That's a scientific fact.
Yeah, that's just science. I'm gonna cut that out and just place it like randomly throughout the episode. Welcome to episode 126 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Muckman.
Listen. This is rough. This is woof number second movie in a row.
I will say this at least was less boring somehow than Witchcraft. Like, I felt like, well, okay, so I'll get into this first, and this is what made this movie slightly more watchable for me. As I started watching this, the guy that plays the paranormal investigator TV show host, I was like, this guy is really fucking familiar, and I couldn't figure out why. And so I looked it
the
up.
Dude from Pawn Stars.
No,
That's what I was gonna say. Oh my god.
He plays a paranormal investigator / like cryptid hunter in the movie Muckman that I watched for Customers Also Watch. That was one of the worst movies I've ever watched. And I was like, oh no.
When I first saw him, the only thing in my mind was like, my name's Rick and I have this shop with my dad.
He
and
plays
I was like, oh my god.
basically this exact same character in Muckman. And then as I was looking at it, the person that produced this and also some of the other Witchcraft movies also did Muckman. And another actor in this movie was in Muckman.
Oh my gosh.
And so I found out this hole where I started messaging Erica. I was like, I am so mad at you that I recognize anybody in this shitty fucking movie.
Well, and he's in another Camp Blood movie too, so that's kind of like playing someone completely unrelated. He's also in a movie called Sharkenstein.
Yeah, he's in Sharkenstein as I think a shark movie that I think I had on our list to do at some point. He's in a lot of the people in this movie are in a lot of extremely stupid looking horror movies that, like, if I would have seen any of these movies before watching this, I would have been extremely excited about. Like, I sent you guys the
Shark Encounters of the Third
Kind.
Kind.
That title is perfect, and I'm so mad that, like, it was from the person that directed this. They also directed a movie called Virus Shark. Guerrilla Warfare Battle of the Apes. Let's see. There was another one that looked really stupid. Frozen Sasquatch.
Sure.
Razor Teeth, which looks like a piranha movie. Return to Splatter Farm. Holy shit. I'm going to send you the poster for this movie, and this might be a spoiler for the March bonus episode. This might have to be my dinosaur movie.
Oh,
you guys are going to be so bummed out.
is it like part of his, because I already saw it.
Yes, the Sorinus, I don't know, fucking Saurians. I don't know, but this dude has like all of these movies that I'm like, God, if only I had any hope that any of these were any less boring or any,
Yeah.
Not as boring as this fucking piece of shit.
Do you think it's a coincidence that his last name in this movie is Bucks? Because, like, people come into the pawn shop to give you stuff and you give them bucks.
I wish that was actually him.
Uh,
I can't, like, I forgot I was going to try and figure out how many Camp Blood movies there were.
there are 11.
74.
God, how are there fucking 11 of these?
There are 11. Ghost of Camp Blood is number 9 in the series. And it's, like, really weird because I kind of had, like, I don't know why, for some reason, I thought maybe this was like a legit series, and maybe it was in the beginning. And I just also want to point out that it's Kit's fault we had to watch this, even though I picked it, because he had already seen all the other movies that I was going to pick. So, whatever. But it's like really weird because it's like Camp Blood, and then that one came out in 1999. So, like, maybe the original ones were like not as bad. I feel like probably they are, but then they have like numbered, so it's like Camp Blood 2. Then they have movies in between the number ones that are just titles. So it's like Within the Woods, aka Camp Blood 3, then Camp Blood First Slaughter, then Camp Blood 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7. This one, Ghost of Camp Blood, then 8, Revelations, and then Children of Camp Blood came out this year. Or I'm sorry, it's 2021 now. It came out last year. So it's like I can't even. I don't even. So, and in this movie, I feel like we kind of somehow did the same thing we did in Witchcraft, where it's like meta because the other movies are about I called him Clown the whole time. I don't know. I am sad I picked a clown movie. Carl or something.
It was Stan Cunningham because there's no way it's not a reference to Sean Cunningham from Friday the 13th.
I mean, 100%. Yeah. So, but I just for going forward, I just called him Clown. So the movies are about Cunningham. Like this guy, Clown Cunningham, killing people.
Stan Clowningham.
You just killed Katie.
That's almost as good as Jake from Skate Farm. And in this one, Ghost of Camp Blood is about Rick from the pawn shop trying to. So, like, the clown is dead at this point, and he's trying to contact him. So I kind of feel like somehow we watched two movies that were, like, sort of meta within the series. But it's also another one of those things where I'm like, what were the other ones about even? And then there's, like, more after I don't know. It's just...
Like, I will say that this movie at least piqued my interest for the other ones a little more, because I feel like the other ones just seemed like dumb slasher movies.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like
I think we ended up picking like the weird one out of the bunch, it seemed.
Yeah.
Because like this is more this is like a ghost movie that's like a slasher movie as well, but I feel like it seems like the rest are like just kind of like a dumb slasher movie with a guy wearing a clown mask. But I think my biggest issue is this movie does the same thing that like Clowntergeist did, that like it's a dumb low budget movie but tries to make it as like the gore look like which this one does not accomplish, but they try to make it look like realistic gore wise, that like it bums me out.
The other thing that was really confusing to me about this one is that like it's an hour and 13 minutes long, but like they show us the same scenes over and over again. So it's like they didn't have enough movie, so they're just like, we're gonna show you this one murder scene the whole time. And also we also see what I assume are clips of deaths from other movies that they just keep showing.
Which like I feel like was at least interesting for us, this being the first one we watched, that it was like, oh, here's like some other shit that happened prior, as opposed to like Witchcraft 16 did like none of that.
Yeah, and at least you get the point, like the idea that maybe, like you said, some of the other ones are cheesy, enjoyable to watch, but like none of the actual deaths in this one were like that. So it was kind of like he literally just stabbed people. He didn't like choke someone out with their intestines like he did in one of the other ones.
Yeah, that's like that. Like that's what's the bummer is that's like a legitimately kind of like fun, stupid horror movie death, and like a lot of the stuff they showed from the previous movies were like, you know, like looked goofy enough with some of the deaths where like the dude gets his arm cut off, but it's like so obviously like a fake arm and it's like not in the right place and shit that I was kind of like.
Yeah.
I feel like if we would have watched like number 3, we kind of maybe would have had like fun with the movies, but like this one just was a bummer.
Well, this top user review says, just a joke, bad, and police say, no way. These have sucked since part 2. Not sure why the police have a say in this, but here we go.
Glad to know part 1 was really good.
Right. Well, and that one came out in 1999, so that's why I was thinking maybe it was like actually legit, but I don't know. It was a mistake because like some of them have actually like cool covers. Like Camp Blood 8, the covers kind of like that overly stylized, like it looks like a cavity color shirt or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But then some of them look very akin to witchcraft. So who's to say? I personally don't think I'll be watching any of the other ones, but I would rather watch another one of these than witchcraft.
I think for both like franchises or whatever, I could see myself watching the first movie just to see like what it started. I think witchcraft especially. I could see myself watching like the first movie if it was streaming for free, just out of like pure curiosity to see what like that franchise was like in like 88 when it started as opposed to like 2016 where it fucking ended.
So here's another thing that's confusing. Under connections it says that this movie follows Camp Blood 4. So like what? I guess they're all just out of order.
Well, yeah, well maybe this just like storyline wise like jumps back in time or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Whatever.
Let's get it. Let's crack into it.
Crack an egg.
Yeah, so this movie was directed by Mark Polonia.
And I'll never forgive him.
Yeah, just wait till we get to Shark Encounters of the Third Kind. I kind of feel like that movie might be worth watching just for that title alone, and it's a shark movie, so it'll be like at least more tolerable. Because I feel like if you're going to make a clown movie, you better make it fucking good, because clowns are already bad enough. Written by Alan Wyoming, starring Steve Diaspora, Jamie Morgan, Mariah Joyce, Nicholas Olsen. Whole nother crew of people I'm sure you've all heard of.
Totes.
All right, yeah.
John Carpenter did the score.
Oh my god, this was another one of those movies where like they could not have a moment of silence with the music, but they only had like 3 songs that they just kept playing, and then they would like stop one abruptly and start another one, and one of them is like legit a circus song that they would just like randomly play, and it was really bizarre.
Oh shit.
The two that weren't circus songs.
Hey.
Holy shit.
The 2 songs that weren't circus songs, one is just the one song that plays throughout Halloween, but made worse.
Yeah.
And the other is the Phantasm theme, but made worse.
That's accurate. Wow, I want to just not watch this. And
can we talk about Phantasm instead?
Yeah.
Phantasm kicks ass.
Let's talk about how when they did it on the Joe Bob stuff, they couldn't do, what was it, 2, and the Joe Bob said it was because of a fucking car getting blown up.
What?
When they did like I think the first Joe Bob Christmas one, they did all the Phantasm movies except for 2 because Shudder didn't have it on there. And Joe Bob said he refused to do it because they blew up a car he liked in it.
What? That's all right.
That's a much better reason than just admitting you can't get the rights to it. Because
I mean, okay, yes, okay, sure, fine, because it's just as ridiculous as he is as a person.
Yeah.
So
at least make it funny.
All right, I guess you're right. Okay, so, oh gosh. Gotta just constitute myself here. Ghost of Camp Blood starts with a scene that we see throughout the
As
movie.
ghosts.
Like 6 times. We re-see the scene happen in different pieces. And I have no idea what it has to do with the rest of the movie. It starts with just kind of like weird flashes of this girl being murdered and getting her intestines pulled out. And then, yeah, that scene literally we see throughout the entire movie for no reason. I don't know why. So now we cut to this girl who's being chased by a man in a clown mask who I called Clown. She falls and
I was so bummed out when it was just a mask and not like an actual clown.
Yeah, no, just a mask. But it's like a guy wearing a clown mask and his jumpsuit is like exactly like any like Michael Myers or that kind of thing. But then like a clown mask from like Halloween or whatever. And so the girl that falls and she immediately is just like, just kill me. And then he's going to, but some guy shows up and knocks the clown out. And they get into a car and they drive off. And this is when the guy she says something like, "Oh man, thank God we found this car. You wouldn't have been able to see it in or something." And he says, "Who would have known clowns can drive cars?"
So confusing.
Aside from the fact that there's like something literally that is called a clown car, but that's fine. Also, he's just a guy. He's a guy wearing a clown mask. I don't know. So they are driving away and they think they got free, but the clown is in the back seat and he stabs the guy through the chair. And then the girl, he's going to like strangle her. So she gets out and the clown follows her. Then she picks up like the smallest stick I've ever seen and like hits him in the chest with it. And they wrestle around on the ground by a sign that says Camp Blood. And then the clown like chokes her out by like choking her shoulders essentially. And she picks up his machete and stabs him in the head. Then she takes off the mask and laughs really weird. She's like lost her mind at this point. Later, the clown is still alive. He is going through some random trash cans and happens to find a new clown mask. But meanwhile, the police show up.
I just like the idea that he just goes to a trash can and there's another clown mask that somehow fits his head perfectly.
I'm throwing them out every week.
Oh, so also, I guess not to like jump ahead too much, but also who fucking cares because this movie was garbage. Like, at least 4 different people are playing this fucking guy in the clown mask in this movie. And like, because I don't know, like they all have different body types, and like the one that's like understandable is when fucking Moneybucks or whatever his name is, Rick from Pawn Stars, is like possessed.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense that it's like his body and like the fucking suit, but the mask also, like his head is so fucking big that like it barely fits on him. Mm-hmm. But like the rest of the time, there's like times where I can't tell if it's supposed to be possessing other people or just other people got filmed in like the jumpsuit and mask.
I don't know.
I bet it's probably just that.
Yeah, I mean, I figured, but like, I don't know, it drove me crazy because there would also be like at some point it looked like they had I can't remember her name in the movie, but like the kind of younger actress that's playing part of the crew that's like filming with him.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like she was in it at some point, and I was just like, what is happening?
The clown definitely had a ponytail at one point.
Well, and sometimes he has like hoop earrings, but they're different than Randy
Moneybucks'
earrings, and so yeah, I don't know, it was very confusing. Also, sometimes the hair was different. Like sometimes, like it looked like, and I don't know if it was supposed to be. I mean, there's no real hair on the clown mask, so it's like when he was like killing people in the beginning, he had like weird. They weren't like dreadlocks, but it was kind of like hair sticking out that had like something wrapped around it, but then later it was just like fuzzy hair. So yeah, who the fuck knows? So he finds a clown mask. The police show up. Then there's live news channel footage showing us murders from other movies. We find out that
this was so
like on the
wild.
news,
This
people
was
getting like killed.
this was the only part of the movie that I was like on board with.
It was pretty funny.
It's so stupid, and like they have all of this footage that there's like zero way anybody would have. But it's
Right.
also like the effect they use for like TV is like,
Oh my god.
it's like wavy and like fucks with the way the screen looks. So it just looks like shit, but then it's just like a newscast of people being brutally murdered by like a dude in a clown mask.
Yeah. And sometimes there was like stills of like a girl running and then him just standing there, and I was like, what? We find out that he's killed 27 people, which like to be on the 9th movie, that doesn't seem like a lot to me. But
I mean,
if he's like killing people at a camp.
I mean, if you well, let's see. No, I mean, I was trying to put it because like I finally, now that I'm like have like this time off, I finally dug into the Friday the 13th box set a little bit. And I was trying to think of like how many people, like in the first movie, I think like what, maybe 5 people? No, there's more than that. So I was trying to put it in terms, because like this was blatantly like you know, it's Camp Blood, so this is blatantly just like inspired by
Right.
Friday the 13th. So I was like, well, maybe like they're like, but then I was like, no, like way more people get killed. There's probably at least like 8 to 10 people per movie.
That's what I was thinking, but
there's also like we've done those movies. We've done movies on here before where like literally nobody gets killed in it. So
like Leprechaun, it was like 2 people a movie,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. So there's the news footage of that. Then there's also interviews with about the clown by quote unquote killer's neighbor, angry woman, and concerned citizen. I loved Angry Woman because she was just like, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. And she just like had her hand up, and I was like, no.
Just like no relation. She's just like a random angry woman. Like she's angry about something else. Like
Who also has
maybe
nothing
someone
to
cut her off.
say. But they like ran her interview anyways. Anyway, then the police essentially they're having a what's it called? Not a standoff. A standoff with him, and he's just like a guy with a machete, right? And so they end up just shooting him. He falls to the ground. He has no bullet wounds, by the way. He falls to the ground. The clown mask falls off and glows for like 10 minutes. Then we get the credits. So now I had no idea where we were, if this was a police station. It looked like a school to me, but there's like it's like the outside of a building, and then also there's like police gear, but also $300 on the police gear, and I have no idea what that was supposed to be. Then we are at a police station because there's some guy walking around looking around, and then he goes into a literal lounge area, and the clown mask of the murderer is just in like a Big Lots bag in a drawer, and he takes it. I'm like, so it's very clear that they shot this in somebody's like backyard and house, or a school community center or something, but it's like they didn't have whatever they were looking for at all, and so they just like compromised like this area. Why would the clown mask be in like the teacher's lounge in a bag? Like, what the fuck? It doesn't look like, I don't know.
I honestly don't even remember that. I remember at some point once when they get into because like you said, it's blatantly shot in like a local community college or some shit. Because there's like the one room that like most of the end of this movie for some reason takes place in is like a, you know, like it looks like a classroom that somebody's giving like a lecture in, like you see in movies.
But but they're pretending like it's a TV studio somehow, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is clearly a school.
And,
it's
like,
just bizarre.
I just remember getting to that point and being like, wait, why do they have this mask? Like, I don't even remember them getting it.
I mean, I don't either. I mean, it makes sense if they shot and killed like a murderer that they would like take his stuff and, you know, put it into evidence, but whatever. I don't know. I don't trust. I guess maybe I shouldn't be questioning why it's there. Like, who knows? Okay, so then the dude went in there and stole the mask, comes outside and hands it over to somebody. We don't know who yet, but there's more murder from. We see more of the murder from the very beginning of the movie, where the girl who we know ends up dead she's okay, and she's like in a garage, but then also there's just shots of a naked girl taking a shower. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but we see like this girl that's in someone's garage in the beginning and this shower lady like throughout the entire movie, and I have no idea.
Yeah, this part was very, very weird to me.
So yeah, who knows? Then yeah, she's just like literally in someone's garage with a bunch of tarps up. So then we find out that the main character, Randy, aka Rick from Pawn Stars, has a show that is called, I think it's called Voices from Beyond.
Oh,
Pawn Stars edition, yes. And the
Pawn
producer,
Stars from Beyond.
there you go. And the producer is talking to him. The producer is very obviously reading his script from the computer that's in front of him. Is telling him that his show is canceled because it sucks, and then he's like, well, my new concept, I guess, you know, he's like, we have a contract and you're supposed to give me 6 more shows. And he's like, you and I know that contracts mean nothing. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to take my new concept to KMFBF or whatever he said. And he's just like, wait, well, what's the concept? And he said, my new concept is about the Camp Blood Killer. And the guy literally says, that's hot and trendy or something like that. And he's like, okay, don't worry, we'll do the show with you. Like, I'll go talk to the brass and whatever he says, showbiz, you know? And so they're going to keep doing the show. And not only are they going to keep doing the show, he's going to give him a better slot, because I guess no one has ever thought about doing a show about a prolific serial killer.
Yeah, this is the beginning of true crime.
I mean, it must be, which I also thought was really funny, because like there was that one point when he was like, yeah, instead of saying this is the most prolific serial killer, he said this is the most profiled serial killer. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Well, he's definitely not the most prolific, because he only had, what, 29 people, we said?
27. Well, and then, yeah. So, cool. So he's stoked. Randy has the clown mask, and he basically, like, writes about... So in this one, we really didn't need to have any backstory. I mean, there's not any... Like, we don't find out why he's actually doing what he's doing, but, like, do we care, I guess? He basically is just like recounting the shenanigans of the clown guy, right? We see a bunch of murders again. We also see the lady that's taking a shower again. Like, my only thought is that they just wanted to show boobs, because she's like the only boobs in the movie, right? But they show her all the time and we don't even know who she is. So Randy then dreams about clowns, like a lot of clowns. And
normal.
Yeah, you know. He hears a knock at the door and he answers it, and it is AJ, Sam, and Jane. Jane, so he says, like, oh, you're the local paranormal community college group, right? And he refers to them as kids, but Jane is definitely like 40 years old.
Yes.
I
was very confused by that. Like, you're a couple of kids. I was like,
not that adults cannot go back to school and community college and stuff, but the other two were like very clearly like in their late 20s ish, right? But I don't know. So they're basically like, hey, we're really big fans of the show, like we want to help you. And Randy?
Just call him Rick. Rick's fine.
Ricky. We'll call him Ricky.
Rackandy.
he goes total Zach Baggins on them and is like, "Have you ever been feel what?" He says something like, "Have you felt the cold breath of a specter on your neck, and have you been pushed?" He just like does all this stuff, says all this like stuff to try and like intimidate them.
So I can't even like over exaggerate how much I think the two like women actors in that are part of like the group that like he works with are maybe the worst actors I've seen in a long time, and that's
Agreed.
saying something compared to last week's movie.
Yeah, Jane is. I'm so sorry, Jane, for you as a real person, but she, I think, is the worst actor I've ever seen in anything. Sam is like pretty bad and also does that thing I hate where she's smiling the whole time when she talks. They're both terrible.
They're not
then
even
the other
like listed on Letterboxd as people in this movie.
Oh, that's sad because they're like the three main characters aside from Candy. So he's basically just like, you guys investigate ghosts, but like this is a murder and blah blah blah, and I don't think you can handle it. And then Jane says, "We talked to the ghost of a 5-year-old drowned victim. Does that count?" And he's like, "No." And he like she likes to bring up that 5-year-old drowned victim. And then we see him later, and it is not good looking. So he's like, "No, go away. I don't." Whatever, bye, and leaves. And they're like, "I think he's interested." Meanwhile, the clown mask disappears, and he's like, he says, "If I can't find you with my eyes, I got ways of finding you," which I don't understand what he's doing, because he gets a thing that looks like a flashlight that he then walks around and it just like beeps, and I don't know what that thing is supposed to do. Like, none of the equipment that they have in this movie is like related to actual, quote unquote, actual ghost hunting at all. I don't even know what that other thing was. It looked like some kind of vegetable peeler. I don't know. So he's walking around and it's like beeping, and for some reason he's like walking around outside. Then he like goes up into this attic where there's like Halloween decorations and stuff. I don't know if this was a mistake, but I definitely saw the machete in there, just like by itself, or whatever his weapon was, with like the crusty fake blood on it. And he does find the mask and is scared by what the subtitles called a eerie ambient music. So there's like a few parts in this movie where he sees something, I guess. Like maybe it was supposed to be like an orb or something, where he like looks around wildly, but there's like no orb. There's no like I don't know what, I don't know. They're basically just like, we don't have any money for special effects, so like just pretend. Oh wait, they did do one special effect. Well, we'll get to it. So the group of paranormal investigators go to the camp. I guess it's literally just someone's backyard. It's like legit somebody's house and like pool. And Sam's like, "Here we are at this desecrated spot." Like, she literally, I think, just watches like Ghost Adventures and was like, "I'm just gonna try and do that." Because she's like talking into the camera and like saying all this stuff about how it's like destroyed, and it's literally someone's just like, it's like a single family home kind of situation. And they find the camp blood sign literally just in the person's backyard. And also the guy, AJ, pretends that he found blood on the grass, which, like, I don't know why there would still be wet blood there, but he's like, "I think we've got enough film, we gotta leave." We see Shower Girl again, also Garage Girl, and I don't know, I guess he stabbed her at this point. Back to Randy. He is recording the promo for his show, and it's very stupid. He's basically just like, "We're gonna talk to the spirits beyond, and we're gonna talk to..."
I also like that, like, he's filming his show, but he's not looking at the camera at all. He's constantly looking like a solid foot in the like, to the left of the camera or whatever.
He also reminds me of the guy from Ghost Hunters. He's like a
The bald
mix
guy.
of, yeah, and I feel like I don't think he's on the show anymore because there's like they're on their like fifth iteration of it or whatever, but I feel like they did that also. They like looked off camera to make it seem, I don't know, but he basically is just like, we're going to talk to his spirit and we're going to get answers about why he killed people and about his victims that maybe we don't know about. And I was like, bro, that is not how this works, but that's fine. So then they show, for some reason, an interview with Sam, the paranormal investigator that smiles all the time. And there's just like a bunch more scenes of like women being killed. They're all naked for some reason. And also there's like clown music and also EDM. I don't know anything that she said in the interview, but it was like stupid. Also, she was the only one interviewed, so that was really weird. So Randy's in his office now, and the clown shows up, and he's like, "What do you want?" Then he stands up, and suddenly he's in a cemetery, and he looks at a gravestone, and then suddenly he's back in his office, and he's like choking himself. And he's like, "Whoa, that was weird." Oh my God. Now we're back at Garage Girl. She's like stumbling around the garage, ripping down tarps and shit, and he stabs her again. She's finally dead. Now Sam, Jane, and AJ are like watching the promo that Randy filmed for his show. Sam asks, like, what do you think the gruesomest Camp Blood murders are?
This is
Let's
so
play
weird.
a game. And they're like, yeah, this is fun. And they basically just like talk about like some of the murders. One is like the girl that gets strangled with her intestines or whatever, and like that kind of thing. So we just see more kills, which I think is, hold on a second.
All right. And Katie,
She just quit. She gave up.
Katie was like, "I'm done with this shit. I'm out of here."
Sorry. So unprofessional of me. Yeah, so I do have to say I have never once ever talked to any of my other friends regarding true crime and wanted to know what I thought their most brutal murder were. It's also gross.
Let's play a game. What's the most like brutal one you can think of?
And Jane's like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I was like, what the fuck? So they talk about it, and AJ's favorite is somebody who is in a wheelchair that gets stabbed in the head. And I was like, what the fuck, AJ?
Yeah, they were like, this they got stabbed in the head and chopped into bits, all of which you don't really see.
No, you just see him sort of get stabbed. And then the girl who gets, choked by her intestines, which I don't know what those intestines were made out of, but they looked goofy as hell. God. So anyways, AJ is like, let me call Randy and see if he's interested. So he calls and it's like, hey, we went to Camp Blood and shot film. Cool, we can be part of the show? Awesome. And I was like, okay, that was easy. Then we see, I had no idea who this guy was. At first, there's just this guy in his basement that's like talking on the phone. He's like, yeah, be there at 7. I have his money and I don't want to talk to him about it anymore. I want a new life. And then the ghost shows up and he's like, hey, what are you doing with that mask? I stole that for Randy. And I was like, oh, okay. It was the guy from the beginning who stole the mask. Sure. And then the guy says, hope you have clown insurance. And then the ghost clown cuts off his arm and stabs him. So he's dead. So now the ghost group and Randy talk about getting hurt by ghosts, essentially, like, I don't know. He shows them, so then they're like, oh, how are we going to contact him? And he's like, oh, here, I have the mask. And then they talk about how Camp Blood used to be a summer camp for kids, I guess, even though all the people who've been murdered are adults, so I don't know, whatever. Randy, is like, you guys stay here. I'll be back. And then he goes out into the hallway with that blinky flashlight thing from before and tries to talk to the clown. So essentially he's just like, what's his name? Carl?
Yeah, sure.
The clown. He's just like,
No,
clown.
Stan.
Carl the clown.
Stan. Yeah. He's like, clown, are you here? And clown's like,
there's only one
yes.
episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force where Carl is a clown. So he puts on that clown wig that turns him into a clown.
That's essentially what happens in this movie. So he's just like, are you here? And he's like, yes, I am. And he's like, what's going on, bro? And he's like, got to kill. And so Randy then freaks out. He's like looking around like, whoa. And then Randy spins around, and in a flash of light, the mask appears, and now he's the he's the clown.
Ugh.
Like, what?
Randy, again, his head is entirely too big for this fucking mask.
Yeah, so he's possessed by clown now. And so the group of kids, quote unquote, are like, well, let's just go and try and contact him ourselves and whatever. So they try to contact him, and he immediately responds to them, and is like basically saying the same thing where he's like, I have work to do, which is murder people. Also, I'm gonna kill you. And they're like, oh shit. And then Randy, possessed by the clown, shows up, and AJ literally says, are you, oh, is that you? Are you possessing Randy? And he's like, yes. And they're like, oh no. So they all run and they hide in a quote unquote, we're at a TV studio building, I guess, but it's like legit just a classroom. There's like rows of chairs, and they are like trying to hide in between the chairs. And the clown comes in and is like looking around for them. AJ jumps out behind him and hits him with the chair. So now we switch over to the producer from before. I don't know what he's doing, but he wanders out of his office and like walks around a lot. Like he goes up the stairs, he goes into another room, and he walks in there and he's just like, what? Why are the lights on? This is expensive. I don't know what's going on. But then the clown shows up, I guess, and kills him. I don't know. I don't think we really see it. Randy wakes up, is tied to a chair, and doesn't remember anything that happened. And Jane is like, thinks that he was doing it to hurt them so that he could get better ratings for the show, which I don't really understand how that makes any sense because nobody was filming anything that happened. So that's stupid.
My theory is that this school is set up like Princess House was, where every house is just wired for sound, but they have it for video.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
I bet there's security cameras they're probably going to take footage from.
Yeah, security cameras are scarier than... So she's like, yeah, you were just going to do that. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's not what happened. And then Sam is like, well, the doors were locked. Did you do that? And he says, I don't remember touching anything. Okay. But then we get video of him locking the doors as the clown. And now the clown's on the loose.
I just like I like the idea that he just slowly walks up and locks the door, but then like checks it and turns around and walks away. But like, I don't understand how that stops them from unlocking the door and leaving.
That's what I'm saying.
This fucking movie is so dumb.
So then also during this time, we just get a lot of cuts of either Randy as the clown or just the clown walking around the halls. And there's like this weird like blur thing going on with it. So it's like, and then he's like walking up the stairs or walking down the stairs. For some reason, he has to open doors himself. He can't just walk through it as a ghost. There's like one scene of him literally like pushing through a door.
Do we need to watch Dracula in a women's prison?
Oh my god.
This actually just looks like it might be softcore porn, but
that's what it looks like.
One of the actresses in this movie was somehow in Starry Eyes, We Are Still Here, Girl on the Third Floor. Was in like the His Name Was Jason documentary. Eliza Dowling, I don't know who she played, because it just doesn't have her character name. I'm guessing she might be
the Camp Blood sign.
She might she might be like one of the people that's like interviewed or something. She was in Land Shark.
Angry Woman.
I don't see her here. She was in the classic Clown Fear.
Huh. Weird.
Slasher versus OC Babes and the Slasher of Zombie Town.
Okay, sure.
I wonder if that's OC is in Orange County, like the witches.
That's what I assume. Yeah.
Oh, Werewolves in Heat.
Ew.
Oh, Ron Jeremy's in this. I'm not watching that.
Oh gosh. Okay, so AJ is.
There's only one review of Werewolves in Heat, and it is, I wouldn't mind Sarah Vandella eating me alive. So that's a good start.
Yeah, that tells me everything I need to know about that movie.
So coming up in February.
Jeez. I might make my leave, I think.
That would be the kind of movie that I would just make someone else come on the podcast to watch too.
And then you can explain it to me.
I'll just be like, I don't know, werewolf fuck somebody, the end.
I mean, I assume. Okay. AJ is like, hey, let's release his spirit. You know, no big deal. And they talk to the clown again, and he says that he wants the mask to be returned to... He wants the mask to be reunited with his outfit so that he can cross over, because he's scared of the light or some shit. I don't know. And they're like, okay, well, where's your outfit? And he says, North. So Randy uses... This is like the weirdest part of this to me, because Randy uses the mask as a dowsing rod. And they just walk around a little bit, and they find the outfit, like, draped over a chair. Why? What possible reason? This shit just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, all of the stuff about, like, this clown's, like, outfit and everything, like, just, I did not understand where they were supposed to be, why anyone had any of it, because, like, I know the, like... At some point, Randy has the mask, at, like, you know, whenever he reveals that he has it, and, like, the other three are just like, how did you get that? And he's like, I have my ways. And there's, like, I'm guessing that one dude that gets killed, like, stole it, right?
I guess. Like, I think maybe they were trying to make you think that he has it because they were going to use it as a prop in the show or whatever. But, like, that's not explained at all.
I just, like, I feel
like
I don't understand how, like, the rest of, like, the jumpsuit and shit got there, unless it's just general, like, paranormal nonsense.
I mean, it makes no sense to me, because it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how, like, the mask and the suit are, like, separate tangible things from, like, the ghost that's walking around killing people, where he's wearing the suit and the mask. And, like, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. But they find it, and then there's flashing, and Randy runs, but the ghost kills Sam. AJ tries to fight him, but the clown keeps disappearing, because, you know, he's a ghost. And then he kills AJ.
Kit, did you see the Hard Times article of Adam Sandler rips up new script after Trump supporter tases himself in balls and dies?
That's too good. This is the gift that keeps on giving.
I mean, that could be real as far as I'm concerned.
I guess I could have brought it up in the news section, but fuck it, we're here. Did anybody see, like, the thing about how Adam Sandler said he's going to make the worst comedy of all time now that he got, like, snubbed for Uncut Gems?
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Oh man, that'll be the first, like, Adam Sandler comedy I'm gonna watch in, like, a decade. It's gonna, wow. You know, that movie will make so much money too, based on just that premise.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
I just can't even fathom what that could be.
I feel like periodically I have to just interject ball tasing to get through this fucking movie.
Well, we're almost done, and you're just stretching it out further at this
Ghost
point.
of Camp Ball Taser.
Yeah, because I don't want this episode to be 22 minutes.
I do.
How dare you?
So, Jane... okay, so the ghost is just walking around again, right? He's killed AJ and Sam. Jane has gotten away, and she is just imagining death scenes that we've already seen earlier in the movie over and over again. And the clown shows up, and he's like, "Welcome to my nightmare world." I think he might be Zach Baggins, actually.
That'd be fucking amazing.
And he basically tells her that when he kills somebody, the victims basically replay their own deaths over and over again. So I'm not really sure like why she's seeing other people's deaths over and over again, but that's fine. So then he basically like lifts up his arm with the machete, and Jane goes, "No!" like legit in slow-mo, and then runs away. All right. Randy also sees a bunch of the deaths streaming on a TV in the lounge again. I don't know. And he's like, "Those can't be real." So he runs also. Jane and Randy find each other, and basically she's like, "He's showing me death. What do we do?" And then Randy goes, "Join him." And now Randy is the clown, and he cuts her arm, but then disappears and doesn't actually kill her. And meanwhile, actual Randy, I guess, is still running around. They're playing their clown music, and he goes into a studio where the clown is like sitting. They're like in a TV studio now, and the clown's like, "Hey, do you want to do an interview?" And Randy's like, "Yeah." Randy sits down next to him, and the clown, and he's like trying to ask him questions, but the clown is like, "No, I want to be the host."
This is fucking baffling.
Yeah, and so he's like, "Fine." And then they have a pretty lengthy talk about crossing over and whether hell and heaven is real, which is very strange to me.
If you're interested, they are.
And yes, essentially they are.
He says they are.
And
the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heaven and Hell was real.
Yeah. I remember
and
Ronnie
Randy...
James Dio.
Pour one out. R.I.P.
I don't. Okay. Yes. Randy is freaked out about that, what you just said, and runs away. Then the clown reappears in front of Jane and actually kills her. Sure. The clown confronts Randy, and Randy pulls off his clown mask and pretends to stab it with the machete. And I assume it's because either the machete's not real or they didn't want to damage the mask because like they want to use it in future movies because he's like cutting it, but like not really. And the clown's like, "Ah," and the clown disappears. Then Randy is back doing the show. And then he puts on the clown mask, and I wrote, "and the end." I don't know if that actually was the end, if something else happened, but essentially the clown continues to possess him, I guess. I don't know. He also puts the mask back on after they had that scene of him like stabbing it and shit. So like it should be cut up, but it's
so
not.
When he's like stabbing it, it's so fucking shitty.
Yeah, he's just like folding the mask around the blade, like.
Oh my god, like it's. Oh, I hated this movie so much.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Oh god.
It was not good.
I guess at least next week we could look forward to a movie directed by the guy that directed Terror Vision.
I'm gonna say it again, spoiler, like, I actually thought I don't know if it's just because of what's been happening to us, but I did not mind next week's movie at all.
I haven't actually watched it yet, but
like I actually think I might watch at least the first one.
Oh, he did like I think the first 2 Subspecies movies as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch 1 and 2, but I definitely would check out the first one.
At least the first
figure out
4. Holy shit! And a movie called Leapin' Leprechauns.
Oh no!
What a fucking perfect. Wow, he did. Yeah, the first 5. So, spoiler, we're doing Subspecies 3, Bloodlust. next week. Directed by Ted Nicolau, I think is how it's pronounced. I don't know, the guy who directed Terror Vision, which is a perfect movie. But he's got quite the filmography here. Oh man, he did The Dungeon Master too. Oh, he was part of directing it at least. Hell yeah. I'm gonna turn this into just a stand podcast for him. Foul Play, Magic of the Mirror, FOWL. This looks fucking incredible.
So the first subspecies has Angus Scrimm in it, you know, from Phantasm.
Yeah.
It's all canon.
Everything tied back to Phantasm.
I love it.
Makes sense.
All right, yeah. So that's next week. So I don't know. At least we get a tolerable movie to end out.
Wait, did you say how many of these there are?
Of Camp Blood or subspecies? No, I just saw that he directed the first 5 of them.
Oh, okay. I think that maybe I might be going out on a limb here, but I feel like maybe that this one was like the most decent because it's only like the third one versus like 9 or 16th of something. But
I'll definitely if I was gonna say if he directed them, I'll definitely watch the first 5 after we do 3, just to see. But
I won't give away too much for you to watch it, but I'm a little excited to watch or to talk about it.
I'm gonna watch that like later tonight, and the movies for the bonus episode tomorrow. All right, so we did all the news last week.
Oh, my only news, it's not actually news, but I just wanted to point out that when you're listening to this, the Psycho Goreman will be released to VOD on the 22nd, which is this week.
Oh yeah, that's like the following Friday.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this when it comes out, put that on your calendar.
Yeah. I think it's already up for like pre-order to like for you can pre-order the actual like physical copies of like the Blu-ray and stuff on Prime and whatever, but you can also pre-order like the download like to rent or own it digitally on like Amazon and Vudu and iTunes and all that shit. So yeah, good call. All right. I can't remember. Did either of you save stuff for what we watched?
Oh my god,
No.
You guys. Yes.
Oh, good.
So Chris and I have been again just watching random shit, and a lot of times it ends up being like action movies or whatever. So we watched Broken Arrow.
Oh hell yeah!
God, that movie rules.
Holy, I was reflecting on it because like when I think about John Travolta, I think about like movies where he's like what was that one Phenomenon? Maybe it was.
Maybe
Phantoms.
Powder?
So when I
Michael.
Michael, things like that when I was younger, where like I remember him being just like a normal person, and I didn't realize like he's just like freaking crazy, and he is so crazy. So Broken Arrow is him and my boy Christian Slater, who I love, and he just like steals nuclear warheads or whatever. But no, I had never seen this movie before we watched it, and the ending of it blew my freaking mind. Anyways, that's not what I wanted to talk about. So, shit, what else did we watch? I did finally watch MacGruber.
Oh, it's so good. I don't assume you probably were like super into it, but I think it's fucking really funny.
I wasn't. Like, there were some things I chuckled at, but like
the graveyard sex scene, perfect.
Not.
It's so good. Like, or like when like when fucking MacGruber is having sex and then he like comes.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
It's so good. It's so stupid.
Yeah, not really my humor, I think, but I did finally watch that, and I finally watched RoboCop.
How you never seen RoboCop?
Perfect film.
I just
Yeah.
have never seen, like, there just has been, oh, and we also watched some random Terminator movie, and that's what led us to RoboCop. I don't know. I just, for some reason, had never, like, there had been no reason for me to see it because it's like, it's not really like I don't know, whatever. We watched it, and I could not believe the, like, shotgun gore effects in that movie. I have, like, never seen anything like that in my life. It was crazy. I really liked it. I guess I didn't say
Oh yeah,
that.
it's a perfect
Um
movie.
and I don't know. I don't know why I had never watched it before, but yeah, we both really liked it.
It
So,
it rules and has the best fucking like line that I feel like every punk band should have in a song at least once, of Clarence being like, "Cops don't like me, so I don't like cops."
yeah, and it was like interesting to see it as I am now because I have recognized like so many people that I feel like I wouldn't have um if I had seen it like forever ago or whatever.
You should
But yeah,
watch the other two now.
I know for sure that the second one is free, so we have that on our list. I don't know about the third one, but
Two, I think gets shit on a lot. I like two. Three is just straight up bad.
I'm sure we'll end up. What else did we watch? Quigley Down Under.
I have no idea what that
So
is.
it's like a Tom Selleck movie where he's like a cowboy, but in Australia, and it's not great. It's like a Western or whatever. But so we have this thing where we'll pick movies based on just actors in a movie that we've seen, and so like Tom Selleck somehow became one of them. And I don't know that I had ever seen a Tom Selleck movie, but now I've seen a few of them. But then, anyways, that led us to RoboCop, which we just watched last night. We finished it, and I am a big fan.
Hell yeah, RoboCop rules.
Yeah.
I, after finishing Evil Bong, was like, well, better watch the Ginger Dead Man movies to fucking end this fucking travesty. And gotta say, second, like the other two Ginger Dead Man movies, not good. Although the subtitle of two being Passion of the Crust
Uh,
is pretty funny, but Gary Busey does not voice the Ginger Dead Man, so it's real bad.
Yikes.
And like, I can't remember if it's like this in these, but Ginger Dead Man is in pretty much the last like 5 Evil Bong movies. And like, instead of the puppet, they have the puppet, and then they just like CGI over the mouth a human person's mouth talking. And it
So
looks fucking terrible.
when when we watched Ginger Dead Man for the podcast, it was the first time I had watched it. So those images of him with like the real person mouth pasted is what I had seen online, and that's what I thought the movie was until we watched it, and I was like, oh, he's just like a normal puppet guy. So I was extremely confused. So that makes a lot of sense.
It's bad. The third one, Saturday Night Cleaver, he gets time traveled back to the 70s.
Oh my gosh.
And it's real bad. But after I finished that fucking trilogy, I was like, well, there was people from the Killjoy movies in Evil Bong, so maybe I should watch the Killjoy movies. So I started. There's 5 of those, and I watched all 5 of those. The first one is pretty bad, and the second one is slightly better but pretty bad. But like the character that plays Killjoy, like the actor, changes. Like the first movie is the only time it's not Trent Haga playing him. And so it's kind of weird. But like after that, they get pretty watchable. 3 was like not great, but a little better. 4 and 5 I found both pretty fun. Cause like you find out like in 3 the end of it is like, so Killjoy is like a demon that gets summoned for like vengeance from people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but is for whatever reason he's like in clown form.
I mean,
and in 3 one of the victims gets away, and so 4 is Killjoy Goes to Hell, where he is brought to hell to go on trial for not being a demon enough, basically. and most of the movie is just it's like a court procedural in hell.
Okay, I kind of
And
like
it's
that.
pretty fucking fun. And like, I like Trent Haga. He did like a lot of trauma stuff, and so he's like pretty funny. And then the like Killjoy's like girlfriend or quote unquote throughout all of it is a character named Batty Boop. And like,
Is she a bat?
no, she's a clown, but her entire body is painted as a clown, and she's naked throughout the whole thing, but as a tail. It's very weird. But she talks like Betty Boop.
Yeah. Oh,
And it's
no.
but I don't know, like the actress that does it, she's like actually pretty good. And like kind of like the highlight of all of the movies.
Wow.
And after that movie, Killjoy escapes from hell, and you go into Killjoy's Psycho Circus, which is him hosting a kids show on Earth. Or not even like a kid, like a talk show. And it gets like, it's very weird because it gets meta where he interviews Trent Haga.
Oh.
And like, it's fucking real weird. And like in it, like him and Batty had broke up, and they replace her with the actress that played Luann in Ginger Dead Man, like the woman that Ginger Dead Man's trying to kill.
Yeah.
So that actress is playing like a fake version of Batty Boop on the show. At some point, I don't understand what happens, but she shows up in Evil Bong 666, where she just for some reason gets like like she just like comes through a portal and ends up like wherever the Evil Bong movies are taking place, and she's just that character where she thinks she's the actual Batty Boop. It's very fucking weird and confusing, but that's how these cross over. And then after watching all that shit, I decided to treat myself and watch Wayne's World.
Nice.
Which is
I
very
rewatched
good.
the first. Yeah, I rewatched those like kind of recently.
I fucking love Ed Harris in it. He's just like, when you kill a man and it's cold out, like steam will rise from the wounds, and she's just like talking about killing people constantly for some reason.
Why not?
But yeah, that's pretty much it, except for I watched Airheads because Caitlin and I recorded an episode on Airheads.
Nice.
All right, shout outs. What was
watch Casino.
It's like one of Caitlin's favorite movies. I think we're going to be doing that on the podcast at some point soon too.
Watch Casino and pick your favorite suit.
The yellow one.
Challenge forever.
Obviously, it's the yellow one. I assume there's.
I like the orange. The orange or the pink. Top two.
What about you, Katie?
Yeah,
Well,
Katie, what's your favorite casino suit?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. So I'm gonna say the pink one.
Oh.
Is there a pink one?
There is a pink one.
Okay, I picked that.
Good choice.
Oh, I do know what this movie is. I've never seen it though. What a whirlwind of a cast. I'm like, nice, Robert De Niro, cool, Sharon, and then James Woods.
Yeah, James Woods is unfortunately in a lot of very good movies.
At least he gets the shit kicked out of him.
I'm gonna say, just because I'm sticking canon here, I'm gonna shout out Girl That's... I have two things. Girl That's Scary, again, because we haven't talked about them in a while, but they just released a episode on John Carpenter's Vampires, which I'm very excited to listen to. They've been releasing some cool stuff recently, and then our BFF's Worst Horror Podcast are on iTunes and Spotify now. And so they have like all of their old archive episodes up, and then they just released a new episode, and then I saw that they're recording one, so hopefully that means that they will be more active, and I'm excited about that. So go listen to both of those.
Yeah, I back that.
Same.
I'm going to say my shout out is the band Juan Bond, Juan Bond, like James Bond. I actually just discovered them today. I was like looking around Bandcamp, and they came up under the tag weird metalcore.
All right.
And like the only way I can explain it is they sound like a weird, like I guess like Dillinger Escape Plan if they were super high and had a less charismatic singer.
Oh.
Like that's not even in like a bad way. Like it's hard. Like I don't think there's not really anybody that's kind of on par with Greg Puciato as like a vocalist for that kind of shit. Like he's just kind of in his own league. Like it's based on what I've listened to so far of their album. Like it's like their singer doesn't do. It's just kind of like the same sort of vocal style throughout as where like Greg kind of can legitimately sing on shit and do different things. But it's really good. They're like, I feel if like you like Dillinger Escape Plan type, you know, off kilter metalcore type stuff, I think you would like it. But they have an album called Womb that came out this year that's really good. So that is mine. Also, Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
No, I don't recommend anybody watch that.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's terrible. We might be bogarting somebody's Discovery Plus login. And
Oh man.
been watching 90 Day Fiancé shit, but I'm pretty sure Ghost Adventures is on there.
Yeah, and the one I was talking about where they did the Cecil Hotel is on there too.
Yeah, there's apparently they're like Discovery Plus is getting its own like stuff for 90 Day Fiancé that like won't be on any of the other things, including a oh god, what was that fucking game show where couples would go on and answer, like they'd have to answer questions about their relationship?
Like the Newlywed?
Yeah, the Newlywed Game. I think they're doing that, but for 90 Day Fiancé couples, and I can't fucking wait to see how bad that is.
Like ones who are still together? Or...
Yeah.
Oh.
There's no way it's going to turn out well. Kit, did you ever finish whatever season you were watching?
Yes. It was a nightmare. Everyone on that goddamn show was the worst.
I can't remember who was in the season you watched. Were Angela and Michael in that? Or was it Lisa and Uzman?
I don't remember.
Like the rapper,
any of the
Soulja
names.
Boy, the rapper.
Are you surprised?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I saw the like after the 90 days or whatever the hell it's called with them, but I haven't seen the season that they're actually on.
They're wild because she just like from the get go, she's like, I'm flying to like I don't remember, like I forget where they're at, like Nigeria or whatever he's at. Which number one, he's a rapper named Soulja Boy, which is suspiciously close to Soulja Boy. So, but she's just like immediately.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that this was a different name. I was like, oh my gosh, I know
it's like
who you're talking about. But
SOJA Boy, which you can listen to his terrible music on Spotify if you want.
That's okay. I've been conned.
But he's like a 20-something-year-old like rapper in I think Nigeria, and is like this fiance is this like 50-something-year-old like lady who just immediately is like, I'm flying out there. The gift I'm giving him is he can raw dog me anytime he wants, and I'm like.
No,
And her
Karen.
friends are just like, yo, like, I don't know if you're aware of like the AIDS outbreak out there, but maybe that's not a good idea. She's like, no, he's gonna come all up inside me anytime. I'm like, oh my god. That's how she's like introduced. It's fucking wild.
That's so gross. Wow.
That show got turned into a fucking nightmare over the last like 2 years, where it's like it was pretty bad to begin with, but like the first couple seasons the couples seem like
genuine.
Yeah, and then it just turns into like, who's the most fucked up people we could find that are gonna be on this show.
Yeah, that's like how I felt. I mean, I know people have different opinions about Catfish, but in the beginning I really liked Catfish, and it kind of did get to the point where like even people would catfish other people so that they could get on the show and shit like
Well,
that. And I'm just like, God, I don't like that.
That's even funnier.
There's a like a spin-off called like 90 Day Fiance the Other Way, where it's like, like the Americans move to other countries, and this old woman named Jenny meets a man, and like as this guy in India named Sumi, who they met because he was catfishing her. And then she still ended up like, and whatever, somehow she realizes that, like, who he is, or he reveals himself, and he's not like who he was supposed to be, and then they still end up becoming a couple.
Wow.
And it's just like how are you ever gonna trust this dude?
That's crazy.
It's a fucking absolute nightmare. If you want to hear us talk about 90 Day Fiance more, just join our Patreon. I'll see if I could find 3 movies that anybody from 90 Day Fiance maybe starred in. We'll do it for a Patreon episode. Katie will have no idea what's happening. But our Patreon is patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. And
get on it.
You should
get up and out on it.
Sign up and listen to our very good Danny DeVito bonus episode, and then our upcoming episode on sentient vehicles, where it's the first time we're going to actually talk about a John Carpenter movie. So,
is that true?
Yeah, because we've talked about doing Ghosts of Mars, but like I think I stated early on that I forbid us to do a good John Carpenter movie on here, because I feel like we'll do it and then John Carpenter will like die the next day or some shit.
Wow.
It's also like
crazy.
well also because like it took a while before I think we did like any movies that like we kind of deemed to be actually like good like Suspiria and stuff. Right. So like early on it was like we were just like none of these movies are like,
or like super legit directors, not just like randos.
Like, we've talked about I think with like a specific guest doing Ghosts of Mars, but it's just like hasn't happened yet. But I think Christine will be the first time we actually like cover a John Carpenter movie. And
we're watching a Stephen King movie, not in Stephen King month.
Yeah. Dun, dun. 2 of them.
Which we'll be doing for our 3rd year, for all of you podcasts who are deciding to do that this year. It's fine. Whatever.
We see you. But yeah, that's our Patreon. We have merch at storefrontier.com/IHopeYouSuffer. Leave us ratings and reviews on iTunes. Tell us your favorite Camp Blood movie.
Yeah, if you've seen any of them at all, just let us know.
Yeah, write us a review for 5 stars that tells us what happened in the other movies.
God, I gotta be honest with you. I didn't even remember that we just talked about that movie. I don't.
It's the beauty of 90 Day Fiance is it wipes your brain of everything else.
I know. It's...
follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery. I assume in a week he's still posting Morbid Angel memes.
Yeah, probably.
At least for Morbid Mondays. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face, where she will post Animal Crossing memes.
Probably. That's accurate.
You can listen to my other podcast, Nate Cape Movie Club. I think when this comes out, our episode on Airheads should be out. So you can hear me talk about the movie Airheads for 2 hours. Because that movie's perfect. Yeah, next week, Subspecies 3 Bloodlust on Tubi. I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else.
Goodbye.
For now.
I'll be Wiedersehen. Wait, what's that song? So long, farewell.
Wiedersehen, adieu.
Was that this episode or is
that that was this episode.
Okay, I don't know, man. Time means nothing.
All right.
It's real.
I hope you Guerrilla Radio, but lights out.
I was trying to distract you from the gorilla radio.
Oh, I'm never gonna forget.
Oh my god! I just saw that gorilla. There was some gorillas that tested positive for COVID.
They weren't listening to the radio.
Yeah, they should have been wearing their fucking masks.
I know. I'm scared. I was like so scared
But they get
that I was
flinging poop at each other.
I mean, I was like so scared to like hug my cats and stuff because I was like, can pets get it? I don't know.
Yeah, they can, but like I don't know how like easily they can, but I know there's been like some that have had it.
Well, and then Maytel was like sneezing, and I was like, oh my god! But I think it was just because we had this like new litter, but it was stressful.
And I feel myself falling up into reality.